Are we live? Are we live? Let us know. Let us know if we're live because we got to talk about day 6. First day of full pads for New York Giants training camp. So please let me know if we're live because we want to talk about it, but we can't talk about it unless we are live. So let us know if we're live. Here with Justin Penik, we got Matt, Hoodie Glaber. So should I, by the way, everyone calls you Hoodie, but I have you in my phone as Matt. What do I call you?
I'm good with Matt, you know.
Yeah. What do most people call you?
At the company, most people call me Hoodie, but in my real life, most people call
What
me
if
Matt.
Glaber gets traded?
That's the other thing. Like, I'm kind of trying to maybe transition, you know, although he just didn't get traded.
Although Glaber did not just get traded. Hoodie Glaber, Hoodie Matt.
All right, screw the Yankees. Let's talk about the New York Giants. We're live. How's everybody doing? We are going to talk about the Giants. So a lot of O-line, D-line stuff. We got one-on-ones today. Justin, how are you?
I'm good. First full day of pads. Can I be honest with you? Just because I got a little mad at the Giants today for certain reasons, and I'm not as pumped as I thought I would be, and a lot of it kind of has to do with the lack of depth that we have at particularly like some of our pass rushers and stuff like that. Like I hyped up in my head the potential of like O-line, D-line 1v1s when I will say
Starters versus starters is good.
The O-line looked pretty good.
Yeah, starters versus starters is good, but it's like we have no good pass rushers on the outside or the interior.
Besides Aziz.
Well, I'm saying for the backups.
Starters.
Yeah, besides the starters. So it's like the backup, like Ben Bredesen. His reps were great today. They were against Ryder Anderson, and like some other random dude.
Brandon Bryant.
Yeah, maybe Brandon Bryant. And you don't, like even the Shane Lemieux was like, oh, good Shane Lemieux rep. I was like, yeah, that guy was in the USFL a couple weeks ago. So,
yeah.
But everyone wants to hear about Evan Neal and John Michael Schmitz, and we're going to start with Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas is still amazing.
Yes.
Still amazing, Andrew Thomas. He dominated Kayvon and Aziz, and it was beautiful to see. It's like, okay, we're still here. Now with Evan Neal.
And he makes it look easy, too.
Yeah, and Evan Neal, the clips are on my Twitter, so check those out after you watch this live stream.
Also, you're going to be doing I'm
going to do a breakdown on the one-on-ones, too.
Two different angles.
So with Evan Neal, the Evan Neal reps aren't great. But if you just watch his feet, like don't even look at the result of the play, just watch his feet. And he is getting out of his stance. He is getting out of his stance, and he's getting to the third step.
Yep.
You know, the first rep versus Aziz Ojulari, he gets there. Aziz tries and shows hands and then pulls him away and tries to dip the edge and does a halfway decent job, and Neal washes him around at around 8 yards or so, which, again, is not an Andrew Thomas dominant rep, but for one-on-ones, that's a fine rep for a tackle. And then versus Kayvon, he gets out quick, and he almost overset because he beat Kayvon to the spot by a good half a second, and started the rep like Kayvon went inside because Neal beat him to the spot, and Neal gave him a good punch with the left hand, but he just needed to keep his feet moving more inside a little more. But just if you start oversetting, then guys are gonna we were talking about it before, he's gonna work on the inside.
Yeah, we'll say that's like not the only worry. One of the new worries for Evan Neal is as his feet start to get quicker, as his feet start to improve, as he gets to his landmark and as he gets to his third steps, I will be on the lookout for, hey, our team's going to start instructing guys going up against Evan Neal to go like outside to inside, and is that inside foot a little vulnerable for Evan Neal?
Which happened with Thomas early in his rookie season where he was oversetting and guys were working inside because Thomas was getting out there too quickly. But again, and then you watch an 11-on-11, which is more like realistic, and Neal, looked fine.
Looks good.
Yeah. So he looks like a better player. Mm-hmm. To what level? We're in practice. It's early, but compared to last year at training camp, which what we saw in training camp last year is what we got from Evan Neal in the regular season, he absolutely looks like a better player.
Yes.
Again, he doesn't look dominant. He does not look like he's anywhere near Thomas's level, which not many tackles are, but he does look like a better player. So that's nice to see.
Huge.
He just kind of looks more calm, cool, and collected in his pass sets, where everything was a little discombobulated last season.
There is a little bit more of a swagger to him too. I have noticed that where even after some plays, we talked about it a couple recaps ago about, him getting in the face of Ryder Anderson a little bit. He has some pep in his step if he has a good rep against Kayvon Thibodeau or Azeez Ojulari. It's cool to see because we did not see that Evan Neal last year. I don't care what the coaching staff tells you. The coaching staff, they got to protect their guys. Evan Neal was not confident last year. Evan Neal was in his head. I kind of know I don't know him personally, but you just get the sense that he's a guy that cares a lot about his performance, and he's a thinker. He's a methodical thinker, and he cares about his craft. And there's a little bit of a different pep to Evan Neal's step this summer, and rightfully so, because he's getting out of his stance, and the things that he was poor with last year, he's capitalizing and improving on this summer.
Well, this is where I will compare Evan Neal to Andrew Thomas, where Andrew Thomas looks back at his rookie year. He's like, yeah, I was in my head. I was overthinking.
Yeah.
I was letting the outside noise get to me. I was wondering, do I belong in this league? And for guys who were dominant their entire life to get to the NFL, where there is a chance you suck. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not just going to be better than everyone. There's a chance that you might end up sucking. Like, that's a lot of pressure.
Even when you went to Alabama.
Yes, exactly. So there's just a lot more pressure that comes along with that. So, again, we got to see more. We got to see a lot more. But at least we're not coming away from this first day of full pads and be like, oh, gosh, we have the same Evan Neal issues or it's close to the same.
Yep, I agree.
The other young guy, John Michael Schmitz.
Can I just say, arguably, not even arguably, let's take this stretch and let's say definitively, John Michael Schmitz, whenever there are full pads, whenever there is 11 on 11, and John Michael Schmitz is the first team center and Dexter Lawrence is out there, it is the hardest task that anybody at Giants camp has to deal with Dexter Lawrence lined up across from him.
And it's a little frustrating from our point of view. It gets him better, but just from like
we want to see JMS have like a dominant rep, and you're unfortunately maybe not going to have a dominant rep against Dexter Lawrence.
So you go and watch the film of those plays. His footwork is good. His hand usage is really good.
He's replacing, which
is like that's a lot of faster in the NFL. Like getting your hands in, like that's like the game's got to slow down for you, and the hand usage is really good, which is a big thing we've talked about with John Michael Schmitz. If you go back to our draft recap, the film review, all that stuff. So the hands were really good, and the footwork was solid. Wasn't crossing over, but Dex was just pushing him back, just overpowering him. Which again, it's one-on-one drills too, which is made for the D lineman, but we still don't know. Maybe the NFL strength nose tackles could be an issue. Now, Dexter Lawrence had 3 times the season that any nose tackles basically ever had as a pass rusher in the NFL. So preseason versus first team guys should tell a little more of the story with John Michael Schmitz, but at least like the technique is good and he's able to do that stuff within those reps.
Yeah.
He also missed on a snap today. It wasn't a total like over DJ, but it was kind of like right here, and Daniel Jones didn't catch it, and they were staying after practice working on that. So those are things you can't happen. Other offensive line notes. Zudu was had one really good rep versus Ryder Anderson.
Yeah.
Had another rep versus and by the way, John Michael Schmitz has started 3 days in a row at center. He's the starting center. Yeah. We're not playing that game anymore. But they are rotating. Zudu got to start at left guard today. And I like his foot getting off the snap. Jumps, and he's using his hands. Not perfect, but he's at least using his hands. Yeah. And he jumped Leonard Williams, got his hands inside, and Leonard was able to, at like about a second and a half. Did my mic get cut out? I can't hear my headphones. Hello. I can't hear in my headphones. Maybe it's my headphones are just unplugged. I'm good? Okay. Leonard Williams was able to spin out. Let me just take the headphones off because that's going to distract me. Leonard Williams spun out of the play, but for one-on-ones, I look at like the first second and a half. How is the rep starting for you? Now, if you're just getting overpowered by guys, that's an issue. But at least the start of the reps have been good for some of these guys. So let us know if my microphone cutting out. It says it's cutting out. All right, let's fix this. Let's fix this quick. We're going to fix this.
Oh, I fixed it. It was partially unplugged.
We're back? Are we back? Are we back?
Yeah, I fixed it. That was unplugged. Yeah, but with the Zudu. I was watching the Zudu a lot today during like the last period of team stuff. Can you hear yourself?
Yes, we're good. We're back.
Boom.
We're live.
Like that. All right, so I was watching Azudu towards the latter part of practice, basically like one of the entire series of 11v11. He was going up against Ryder Anderson. Sean Robinson, we gotta get you back, man. Whatever's going on with you. Nacho was out there for a little bit. What was not? Was Nacho?
Nacho was in the starting base defense. They did a little run drills, which are, as an offensive line, it's your least favorite drill of all time because it's just like, hey, defense, we're running the ball. And we don't even have wide receivers out here, so you just get to get downhill. Nacho made a nice play in that. Okereke and Beavers both had tackles for a loss in that. But the first play, Bellinger was the lead blocker, and Saquon broke it. And it wasn't just simple like, oh, they don't tackle. Like, no, that was like the first play. They sealed it off, and Saquon had a nice run on there. So
but I want to go back to
Azudu.
Azudu.
Out of breath because I'm like going 1,000 miles an hour right now.
I want to go back to Azudu. I really do think that Azudu at his best, and I know you agree with me, Azudu at his best is better than Ben Bredesen. I think Ben Bredeson's really good, especially in Giants offensive line standards. And even last year, I mean, there's the pass blocking productivity, that PFF kind of comes up with that, we kind of like to look at. It backs it up. He was one of the better pass blocking offensive linemen in the NFL last year, but I still do think Azudu at his best is better than Ben Bredesen at his best. And Azudu just looked balanced today. Like, he was getting arm extension. His feet are athletic and as quick as ever. And as long as he can kind of have that eye and foot and hand all kind of connection, all in sync with each other, and all balanced with each other, I do think Josh Azudu is going to be the starting left guard for the Giants week 1.
They're truly rotating that like every day, and they're training Ben Bredesen at right guard, center, left guard. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, as a third-round pick with that athleticism, you hope Azudu wins it out. Mm-hmm. And maybe they will let Bredesen actually compete for right guard. So we'll see how that goes. Kayvon, meh. Aziz, meh. In those drills. And neither one of them are really making plays in 11-on-11 either. Which is like, we excite that Evan Neal's not having these disastrous plays on 11-on-11, but we also want those two pass rushers to do good things as well.
Yeah, I know Kayvon has
all the pressures are coming from either the middle or blitzes.
Yeah, Kayvon has a sack this summer, but it's on a stunt where he was going towards the inside. Azeez Ojulari had a really nice play a couple days ago. I saw the New York Revival guys posted it where he went outside to inside on Evan Neal. So that's one of the things of, hey, I'm looking for Evan Neal to defend now the inside move along with getting out to his third step in those landmarks. So that's my take on Kayvon and Azeez so far. Like, I don't want to say that I've been watching them fully and everything like that, but the more that pads go on, the more that we will.
Let's talk about Daniel Jones in the passing offense today. I'm glad that there was a few sacks today. Not glad that there was a few sacks from the offensive point of view, but I'm glad those weren't turned into completion. So it's like, well, there's completion, but it was a sack. So every play that there was 2 just flat out sacks, and then the deep incompletion to Jalen Hyatt was a most likely sack play. So only one throw that was like a would-be sack in there. Daniel Jones went 6 for 11 today. I guess we can we talk about Trey Hawkins within this? I know we're not doing defense. Trey Hawkins was splitting reps with Adoree Jackson. Obviously, not going to start over Adoree. I think at some point, if the coaching staff is willing to give Trey Hawkins these plays, and Trey Hawkins continues to make plays, at some point we don't call it training camp hype, and we call this guy seriously competing to play.
Yes, I agree.
Like on that would-be sack and completion to Jalen Hyatt, this is 50 yards down the field on a crosser. That's a lot of room for Jalen Hyatt to use his fucking speed and get away from Trey Hawkins. Yet who is there right in his hip and breaking up the pass? Mm-hmm. It's Trey Hawkins. Who is there on an 8-yard hitch breaking up a pass to Isaiah Hodgins, the route runner? Trey Hawkins. Who is there in one-on-ones versus bad receivers like David Sills, but at least mugging guys? And I don't care if it's against those guys. One-on-ones are created for wide receivers. Even the bad ones like have really good one-on-one reps. And for a 6th-round pick, he's having better – okay, we talk about him going against backups. Well, he's having way better reps than any other backup on this team.
Yeah.
So at some point –
and now it's been 2 days of first-team reps.
Yeah,
and
the coaching staff is taking it serious. So I'm forced to take it serious, and I'm not going to like I need to see regular season games before I proclaim this guy the real deal Steele. But he's gonna they're gonna find ways to get him on the field. I would assume it's like he's playing well.
This is a huge test,
and he has all the size and speed, and physicality to do it. We're not talking about a guy who doesn't have the speed but is having a good camp. We're not talking about a guy who's undersized but he's having a good camp. You have a guy who fits all of the speeds and size,
and he looks good.
Prerequisites for the
Every
NFL,
single
and he
day
does
he's
it
making
well.
a play. In multiple plays. Every single day he's making a play. So I'm with you, man. This is going to be a huge test for this coaching staff and this regime in general, where it's not like we're talking about a Gettleman guy versus a guy that you signed off the street in a post 53-man cutdown day. This is and I'm serious when I said, like, a lot of the beat guys that we've talked with, they've talked about, could Trey Hawkins on the slot, or no, it's like this is a battle between Deonte Banks and Trey Hawkins.
And
it is.
And we'll talk about Isaiah Hodgins because there's another one that was a breakup, but maybe I don't know. But like, and this is from and where it's like, dude, did we get a 6th round? Like, because we went through 4 years of Dave Gettleman, and the only day 3 picks that hit were Julian Love and Darius Slayton. It's like, but you got to remember,
we're so scared to
teams
trust.
hit on day 3.
Yeah.
Teams hit on day 3. It happens.
Ideally,
it happens. We're kind of due for a day 3 guy to hit. So
again, I this is a big test for this regime and this coaching staff. Like, we knew last year that they're gonna Kenny Golladay, and they're gonna put Isaiah Hodgins and whoever over Kenny Golladay. Just because you're a big guy, you're a big money guy, and the team has a lot of resources, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna get all the playing time. Okay, well that was with a lot of Gettleman guys last year. Now it's with your 1st round pick and your 6th round pick. And right now, even against the ones, I do want to note Deonte Banks. I don't know if he had a good day, but he wasn't targeted.
He wasn't
today.
targeted today, so that's a good day for Deonte
That's a good
Banks.
day. Yeah, but I do want to say that Trey Hawkins is making plays every single day, and it's not necessarily just like a Deonte Banks versus Trey Hawkins thing, but it's just that Trey Hawkins is looking like one of the best players during this entire camp so far.
Well, even if it's like, hey, he gave up a completion on the first team here or there. You know who's also giving up completions
dudes
on the first day? Adoree Jackson.
Crossers to Darius Slayton over the middle of the field.
So yeah, but
reward the good play.
Yeah, and they are. Let's talk about the offense as a whole, but why don't you talk about Manscaped first?
Oh, we'll talk about Manscaped first. Oh boy, I don't have the ad read on me.
Well, the DJ went 6-11 while you look up the ad.
Oh sure, I could do it off the cuff. I'm that good.
Isaiah Hodgins, we're going to have a conversation about Isaiah Hodgins post ad, so you're looking forward to that. Manscaped sent us out there, so it's good stuff.
They did, thank you,
We also had a
Manscaped.
super chat from Juicy John. Juicy John Skinner. He actually has my last name. He's a Patreon. Thank you for the super chat.
Any relation?
He said, is this what optimism feels like? Is this what other teams feel? Daniel Jones is going to be in the MVP. Yeah, this is what training camp feels like for other teams that haven't been the Giants the past 5 years.
Manscaped, they're sending us to training camp with...
The chat is saying something about Derek.
Excuse me?
Oh, Derek said Banks is a bum and a wasted pick, and then people are saying, shut up, Derek.
I thought you said something completely different.
Everyone say something mean to Derek.
I thought you said DICK.
No.
And speaking of that, Manscaped, the Platinum Package 4.0. It's a one-stop shop for the man who deserves it all. And oh boy, there's like 1,000 people in here. We all deserve it all. And Manscaped, they designed this Platinum Package 4.0 to allow you to fully align your entire hygiene routine with elite products. That includes the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear, nose, and hair trimmer, which I use religiously, and the Ultra Premium Body Wash 2-in-1 shampoo plus conditioner, deodorant, and so much more. The Platinum Package 4.0, they cover all the bases from head to toe and hair to ball. Fro. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code GIANTS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code GIANTS. Use the Platinum Package because the gold standard is no longer enough. Manscaped always had a gold standard, but as Giants fans...
Get some Manscaped, Derek. It'll make you a happier person.
We had a shitty standard, and now we have a platinum standard like Manscaped.
Make sure to like and subscribe, Derek.
Like the stream too, by the way, because the more people
Someone said, Justin, please. I'm wound up today too. Like that Trey Hawkins thing. I sounded like I was.
I also can I tell you
Sports.
something little? I'm gonna go a little like sports radio here and react to the chat, even though I hate to do that. it is my job to be enthusiastic about the New York Giants. So when you tell me to relax, that gets me even more fired up, and I'm going to continue to be fired up throughout this stream.
Well, I just gave like a Fox Sports speech talking about Trey Hawkins.
Don't tell me to relax.
Relax.
Like the stream, please. Thank you for hanging out, 1,000 people. Defense, other notes.
No, we'll finish with the offense, and I want to talk about Isaiah Hodgins.
Sure.
Because Hodgins on a quick pass.
Hawkins did have the pass
Hawkins
breakup.
pass breakup, and then on a deep pass, this was and we could talk about the three
It's
deep
like a
passes from
50-50 ball.
Daniel Jones. So one was the Jalen Hyatt, a beautiful throw down the sideline to Hodgins, and Hodgins adjusts to the ball like back shoulders it, gets in his hands, goes to the ground, and we're all like, Hodgins made a catch. Now, the referee said it incomplete, so maybe he was out of bounds. Maybe he ended up touching the ground. I don't know what happened, but you know, I have been going through the catches by the day, and you have Waller and Slayton with 11, Campbell and Saquon with 8, Hodgins has 5. I want to see him do more.
Yeah.
Like we talk about, oh yeah, but if to be a starter, you got to like have some more impact. And I want to. Again, this is why this offseason, like, what is his role on this team now that it's more balanced? What is the role on the team now that you have Darren Waller? What is the role on the team that maybe we have a little bit some better offensive line play? And it's just, to me, I think it's one of the bigger question marks on the team, because right now, and do they want to play Jalen Hyatt eventually?
Yeah.
Did they draft Jalen Hyatt to play eventually?
Yep.
Well, Slayton and Campbell aren't going to get their reps taken away. It would be Hodgins right now. So it's just something that I have kind of in the back of my head. It's like, what happens with Hodgins this year? What is his role?
Yeah, it's a fair question. I will say the Giants are really running a vertical offense that's going down the field right now. And I don't think that's going to continue to the extent that it is in training camp right now. Like, they're going to get more balanced. The average depth of target is not going to be insane for Daniel Jones. It was the lowest in the NFL last year. I hope that it's somewhere in the middle. I want balance. And Isaiah Hodgins is very key to there being balance in the Giants offense, because while you have guys like Darren Waller, while you have guys like Jalen Hyatt, while you have guys like Darius Slayton, what Isaiah Hodgins does is different from some of those other guys where, you know, he's smart, he can get open. It's the short yardage. It's anytime you want to utilize the quick game, whether that's 3rd and short, 1st and 10, you want to use the quick game as an extension of the running game. Isaiah Hodgins is kind of part of that. So in that way, I don't think his role is going anywhere, because I don't think that this full on like throw it all over the field offense is going to be there for the Giants come week 1. But we are seeing the deficiencies of Isaiah Hodgins in that basically he's slow. And that's where like his weaknesses are showing up in training camp right now.
Yeah, but we said here's where he can is make some more out of contested catches. You're 6'4".
Yeah.
And we've seen him be targeted twice on those and him not be able to pull them in.
Right.
And maybe the one today was a catch and the referee was wrong. You know, like, because when it went down, we thought it was a catch, and then you see the ref
go incomplete.
say incomplete. So
And Banks was in coverage on that.
no, that was Hawkins.
Excuse me, Bank. That's what I meant to say. I got him confused. Hawkins.
So we also saw a bunch of like 13 personnel stuff today, with even like Sweeney getting some first.
There
team
was
reps.
a 3rd and 1 play that I found to be outrageous, but it was funny. When I say outrageous, it was funny. It was Tommy Sweeney, Daniel Bellinger, Chris Myrick, and David Sills as wide receiver 1. 13. It was a 3rd and 1.
I call that white personnel.
Which one? I bet that's the play call. White 31 slam, ready, break. That's the play. That is the most we're running the ball in this play. Telltale sign ever.
Yeah, and guess what, guys? They did run the ball.
They ran the ball with Gary Brightwell running back too.
We had a Lawrence Cager conversation on the podcast this morning, and he had a drop today.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like it was like DJ checking it down to him, and he dropped it. I want Myrick or Sweeney. I don't think Cager's a good enough receiver to have zero blocking. We already have Darren Waller on this team.
And Lawrence Cager's not Darren Waller.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of in on like one of those guys making the team.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
do want to tell the Chris Myrick story at the end of this. Let's see. What other notes did we have? By the way, we always note first guy out on the field, last guy out on the field. Leonard Williams, dude, We're gonna start noting that.
How was the
Beavers and Okereke both had tackles for a loss in the run portion of the.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. Did any of the linebackers, while they were doing the running drill over there, did any of them step up?
It's a lot to see in there, and it's a drill that is built for the defense. But Beavers did have a tackle for a loss in the backfield. Okereke also had a tackle for a loss in the backfield. So you do like seeing those types of things. Other defensive notes that I have. Timon Fox in a one-on-one bullied Tyree Phillips. Put him on his ass.
It was cool.
Hawkins, obviously. What else? Cam Lyons, backup long snapper. Got put on his ass on a punt.
Oh, no.
Not good, Cam Lyons. You're
Not
trying to make
good.
this team. I made a dad joke today. So the West Point basketball team was there.
Oh, sure.
They're all very tall, and we're in a group. And I was like, "Oh, are you guys the bowling team?"
Oh, nice.
And I was like,
Ha, 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 ha.
and they were
Did
like,
they laugh?
"Yeah, we're real deal, number one." And then they walked away.
Good for you.
But I said it.
Is that a new low for you?
Yeah, because it was very funny in my mind, and then I said it, and I'm like, that guy's probably like, shut the fuck up. But I think because I'm so tall, I can say something like
Yeah.
that.
Okay. You're 6'7". People don't know that.
People at training camp do.
You're taller than I thought.
Also, the beat is because I was up by the fence to start practice, which I'll never do again.
Who'd you see?
The beat reporters, like, the closer you get to them, the more you feel the snobbiness of being a beat reporter.
Did they even acknowledge your
Art did. Art, our guy.
Yeah.
Dunleavy, who we have on the prod Fridays, I said long time no see. Duggan just gave a little like this to me and Weiss.
I gave a fist bump to Duggan.
Yeah, you could just.
Well, Duggan was talking with Ian Rappaport today, like big time. Ian Rappaport was at practice.
Rapport. But you can feel the smugness coming off of a beat reporter when you're close to them.
Who didn't say hi to you? Did Jordan? I saw Jordan.
I didn't see him today. Was he there?
Jordan walked. I think you were maybe facing the other way. Jordan walked right by you and Weiss. Didn't even say a word.
I didn't see him, so that's on me too.
He farted on the pod, so.
All right, so
we'll
we're
find out when.
We're ending the practice report part of this. So Chris Myrick.
Ask us questions in the chat.
Yeah, ask us questions in the chat. I do need to tell
Q&A.
The
who?
The Chris Myrick.
Oh,
So
tell
we
the
made
Chris
a
Myrick
sign because everyone makes signs trying to get Saquon the sign.
Yeah.
Also, like, if you're listen to this, we don't need everyone yelling Saquon during the practice.
Saquon! Odell! It was so bad when Odell was here.
It's just not needed. That was me being a dick. So we made a Chris Myrick sign as a joke, being like, Chris Myrick, if you sign this, we will spare Danny King's life.
Yeah, so Danny King's life
So
was hanging in the balance.
I
practice.
walk up to Myrick face to face, and I was like, "What's going on, Myrick?" He's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "You want to sign this?" Because he didn't see it before practice, and I showed it to him, and he's just like, "We'll go over to the tent." He's like, "Does that work?"
It's for 12 and under.
I was like, "I guess," and I walk over there, and it's all 12 and under.
Bench warmers. I am. 12.
So I was like, I tried to stop Chris Myrick, couldn't be stopped.
He couldn't
So
be
I was
stopped.
a little like miffed. Hoodie was with me, and you could tell. I was like, all right, man, that makes me feel really weird that I held you up this sign and you didn't play along with the joke. But then he replied on Instagram and was like, I'll have to get you after a different practice. I had to go do the high fives with the kids. But I was still like,
I think to show that we're real, I think we need to take out Danny King.
or just rip the sign up.
Nope.
But we'll see.
We called Danny King and we said
I guess we could just kill Danny King.
we said get ready.
All right, let's get some chat questions. How was DeVito? There was a guy after practice who, I don't know if he was our
Oh
fan
my
or what,
God.
old guy who's like, Tommy DeVito, guy's the future, needs. And at first I thought he was joking because I was like, touchdown Tommy, dual threat. And he was like,
Kept going.
serious.
And he said you need to talk about him more. So I guess maybe he knows what we do.
So maybe he was like a,
I'm not going to say anything bad about Tommy DeVito,
because the mafia will get us.
but I will say I miss Davis Webb.
All right, let's get some real questions.
Davis Webb just hot dogging it.
Was there
slinging it.
anyone of note who didn't get any run? No, not really.
I do wish our interior defensive line. I mean, we got to see when A-Sean comes back and shit like that.
Nacho had a nice play in the run drills. He was back out there today.
Mainly edge. It mainly comes with the
Our backup edge rushers suck. They're
not
trash. That's reality. And that's without Jihad Ward out there, player profile projection coming out next week. We recorded that today. Or no, that comes out this week. We recorded
Does
that
come
today.
out this week.
Our backup edge is trash. O'Shane Zimenez, like they're bad. They are flat out bad. And if Kayvon and Aziz goes down, we now have one starting edge player who brings you 0 pass rush production, and that stinks.
Yeah.
So hopefully those guys don't get injured.
Little. Speaking of injury, I don't think he's hurt. He was jogging after practice, but he didn't have pads on, and he was one of the only guys that didn't have pads on. Jalen Hyatt did some stuff with individuals, and Jalen Hyatt was out there for like the first team of 11-on-11s, and then he didn't come back out, and he wasn't out there for the rest of practice. But he was jogging after practice. He gave high fives to fans and stuff like that, but he didn't have his pads on, so off day tomorrow, we'll see if he's out there on Thursday.
Clayton Ryder has asked this question 5 times. What is the explanation of Vernon Butler? 1, I don't know. 2,
He didn't show up.
It's Vernon Butler. So
He didn't
I'm
show
not.
up.
I don't know what happened there, but I'm like not worried about it.
I'm not stressing over Vernon
Former
Butler not showing up.
Dave Gettleman first round pick.
Wow.
How the team looked to camp this time last year? I mean, offensively, today was probably the worst day offensively. And this would have been like one of the better days offensively last
that's
year.
why. So if it was your first time, like Anthony Isidori, Snacks' brother, was at practice setting. He's like, the offense really sucked. And I was like, okay, it wasn't great, but compared to last year where those were like really bad days where the offense was inoperable, I wouldn't go as far to say the offense was inoperable today.
Yeah. Also, there was this play action where Kayvon is coming free off the edge and Saquon leaks out. And DJ just dumps the ball to Saquon, and that would have been like a 50-yard gain in a play where Wink Martindale sent one of his blitzes. You got DJ it was play action, like DJ play action under center turns his head and Kayvon is coming free, and Jones just kind of deals one of these to Saquon, and it would have been like a 50-yard play, which is like you always see the guys run down the field after they catch it, even if it wouldn't have been a big play, but that would have been a big play, so that was good to see.
We didn't talk about Darren Waller. The first play of 11-on-11 was a play action fake, and he catches a ball right over the middle of the field. He got another target.
He had a contested target. McKinney had a nice breakup on that.
in the end zone, which was nice. So that was really hit from Darren Waller, though. Marcus McKeith. I saw two McKeithen questions.
McKeithen and Aaron Robinson we saw for the first time today. I
Yeah.
hadn't seen them even out there practice. They were out there today. I also saw Dennis Hickey taking notes of practice, which was interesting. What is his official role? I mean, he's like the college.
He's like
director of college scouting,
but he's not.
Yeah. So that's it. That's it, right? So I see people asking about the O-line and Dex JMS. You got to rewind, and we went over that stuff at the start. So if you think there's go if you didn't join on the beginning, just start from the beginning, and we probably hit on it. So anything else, Justin, before we get an off day?
People are asking why did guest services yell at me today?
How do they know about that? Did you tweet about that?
No, I guess people were just there and they heard it, which is also partially.
I wasn't there for that. I wish I was there for that because
which is partially why I'm like a little teed off because I don't know who was around me and who knows me and who doesn't know me, and that's fucking embarrassing. So, Giants.
Thomas Donaway's asked that question 25 times.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess Thomas was there and he saw it and he really wants to know. The Giants sometimes don't know their ass from their elbow. And I will tell them that if they really ask and if they really care. They're just very inconsistent.
Thomas was there, so he did see it.
They're very inconsistent with their rules, where they say that you can film individual stuff, and then today they yelled at me for filming individual stuff. So, it's like, then you just don't want me to film at all, and then why don't you just tell me that? So,
all right, we will see you guys. We'll be back for a practice live stream on Thursday. Be earlier in the day, obviously. Player profile projection out in the morning. Check out the podcast from today if you haven't. And then I will have a film breakdown of one-on-ones later today. So we appreciate you guys. See you on the next one. Let's go Big Blue. Any word on Sam Beal? No.